Hi, this is Arango of littleguycgi.com, and today I'm going to show you how to make a Barbarian type character inside of Blender 2.75a. So let's get started. Okay, if this is your first time in Blender, I recommend you go to File, User Preferences, go to Input, and then choose Select with left click. Blender's default select is with right click, and this may confuse you if you're coming from Adobe or other 3D programs. Also, while you're in here, select add-ons. Make sure you have a check mark next to 3D navigation. Scroll down some. And make sure you have check marks next to Mesh F2, Mesh Inset Polygon, Mesh Loop Tools, Mesh Relax. And also, if you want the pie menu that pops up, it's kind of like a pop-up menu, you just want to put a check mark for a user interface pie menus official. I'm going to press Control R and put a loop cut right here. Left click to lock in. I'm going to press S to scale on the X axis like that. I'm going to press S to scale on the Y axis like this. Hold the middle mouse button. I'm going to zoom in by rolling the mouse wheel in. I'm going to hold Shift and middle mouse button to pan. Okay, when you start off in Blender, you start off with this cube. You also start off in object mode. The way you can manipulate your view is if you hold the middle mouse button, you can rotate your view. You can also push 1, 2, 3, a bunch of different number keypads, 7. I'll go back to 1 here to manipulate. What's really cool is if you click right here, this is the navigation tab. And right here you can select these different buttons. And they're very useful because this will take you to pretty much whatever view that you need very quickly. You can also go into local mode, which basically global mode is what we're in right now. It's when you can see, lights and other objects. If you select local, all you see is the object that you're working on. So I'll select this to go right back to global mode. Okay, most of our time will be spent in edit mode. So I'm going to click here and then select edit mode. Basically, in Blender, the way you make objects is by manipulating vertices, edges, and faces, all of which you can select right here. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to press W, which brings up our specials menu. We're then going to choose Subdivide Smooth. You're going to look right over to your left where it says number of cuts. You're going to take this up to 3. You're going to make sure you're on Vertice Select. And you're going to select here, hold Shift, select here, and select here. Now, as we go through this tutorial, I'm going to make the attempt to say every shortcut and keyboard press. However, for me to do that, the last tutorial I made was, I think, over 3.5 hours long. So for me to say all those shortcuts, I have to speak somewhat fast to say them. So don't let it get to you. On YouTube, there's a thing where you can, slow down. If you look in the settings, you can actually slow down the recording to watch it, and it'll actually slow down the speech. Anyway, with these 3 vertices here selected, what you're going to do is you're going to select right. This right here is what's called the proportional editing tool. This thing is extremely useful for dealing with modeling organic shapes. You can either click here and click enable and turn it on, or you can press the O key, which I just did. When it's on, you'll see a blue circle right here to let you know that the proportional editing tool is on. Okay, I'm actually going to select, see right here it says view perspective / orthographic. Right here you can see it says right perspective. I'm going to click here so it goes into orthographic mode just so we have a clearer sight to, clear view of this head that we're about to make. We're going to hit G, and the main reason I use G is G allows me to pull these vertices, as well as when I roll the mouse wheel, it actually lets the mouse wheel go, bigger and smaller. And I believe that it's, let's see, page up and page down also increases or decreases the area of influence. What you want to do is like pull down. You're basically pulling the chin down to about like that. You're going to left click to lock in. Okay, now what we're going to do is I'm going to hold the middle mouse button and turn to the side. I'm going to go to face select. I'm going to press C for paint select. I'm going to roll the mouse wheel to shrink the area of influence of the paint select now, because paint select just allows you to paint faces. So I'm going to right click to get out of paint select. I'm going to select here to go to back to right view. I'm going to press G and then Y, and that just constrains the view a little bit to pull this head back some. Then I'm going to left click to lock in. Okay, now what I'm going to do is press A to deselect. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button just to look right here. I'm going to press C for paint select. I'm going to select these faces right here. Whoops. If you grab something extra, you can just hold the middle mouse button. It'll deselect instead of, select. I'm going to press G and then Y. Pull down a little bit. I'm going to shrink the area of influence by rolling the mouse wheel. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button and turn to the side. So we have a view kind of like that. I'm going to press O to turn off the proportional editing tool. You can tell it's off because it's not blue anymore. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to press E to extrude, bring this down about like that. I'm going to left click to lock in. I'm going to push this straight forward. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button and turn to the side. Okay, and one thing I want to make mention of, when I pulled this neck out, I made sure I had the proportional editing tool off. And the reason why I did that is we're going to eventually cut this mesh in half so we can mirror this, so we can essentially do half the work to make this mesh. And it tends to be that when you have the proportional editing tool on and you pull the neck out, a lot of times when you go to, at least for myself, when I go to put the mirror modifier on, I have issues. So anyway, you're going to press S to scale. You're going to hold Shift Z. All right, so I pressed S to scale, then I went right to holding Shift, and then I press Z. And what this does is let me scale on every axis but Z. And it's just, you find out that as you do a lot of modeling, anything to save time, or almost anything to save time, is a big help. So what you're going to do now is you're going to press S to scale on the Z axis 0, left click to lock in, pull this down just a little bit more. We're going to press A to deselect. We're going to press Control R. This puts a loop cut right there. That's why you see that purplish line. I'm going to roll once, and now we have 2 loop cuts. I'm going to left click to lock in, left click again to totally lock in. Now I'm going to press S to scale, and then Shift Z immediately after, and it lets us go like this. Then I'm going to left click to lock in again. Okay, now we want to put that mirror modifier on that I talked about. So what we're going to do is we're going to select front from here. If you're not in orthographic mode, which you can see right here, it says front ortho. Orthographic mode is kind of like a blueprint mode. If you're in perspective and you see it says front perspective, just click here. It'll take you right in orthographic mode. We're going to press A to deselect. We're going to press Z. This is that pie menu I mentioned to you in the beginning. Anyway, we're going to press Z, go to wireframe. The reason why we went to wireframe is normally if we selected a face here, it would just be the face here. We need to select the faces in the front and the faces in the back. So we can grab this entire half of this mesh to delete here. So we're going to go to faces. We're going to press B, which is box select. We're going to left click and hold and drag a little bit past the center line. And now you have this whole half selected. I'm going to press X to bring up our delete menu. Then I'm going to choose faces to delete. This little orange dot right here is the origin point for this mesh. That's exactly where you want it to be, exactly in the center. And for your mirror modifier to work correctly, you want this origin point to be right in the center of your mesh. Anyway, with it in the center, what you're going to do now is I'm holding my middle mouse here. I'm just rolling the mouse button to scroll. You can also scroll by holding the middle mouse. I'm looking for this wrench looking button, which is our modifier button. Let's see, it says add modifier. I'm going to click here, and then I'm going to go to mirror. And you can see right here, this side is mirrored over to this side. What we're going to do is turn on clipping. Clipping keeps this virtual part of the mesh from pulling apart of this from this actual part of the mesh. And we're going to click this little triangular looking button so it looks like, this part of the mesh is, just like that part of the mesh. Okay, so what we're going to do now is press Z to come back to solid view. hold the middle mouse button just to take a look at this. I'm going to actually paint here. I'm going to press C, select these faces right here. I'm going to pull back just slightly. I'm going to press A to deselect. I just held the middle mouse button to turn. I'm going to hold Shift and the middle mouse button to pan. I'm going to roll the mouse wheel to zoom in with face select on. I'm going to press C. And I just selected these, faces right here. Now, because the mirror is here, you'll see that when I select these four over here will be, selected, which is useful. I'm going to right click to get out of paint select. I'm going to select front here to go to front view. I'm going to roll the mouse wheel back to zoom back. I'm going to hold Shift and the middle mouse button to pan. And what I'm going to do now is press E to extrude on the Z axis. And I didn't press Z because I saw that preview line show up right there. So we're going to come down to about here. Our arm is eventually going to come out of here. What we're going to do is press E to extrude again, come down to about here. And what we're trying to do right now is get the basic shape of the figure. Once we have the basic shape and the basic, parts of the mesh's body that we need, we can come back and reshape. So I'm going to press right click get out. I'm going to press E to extrude again. I'm going to come down to about here, then left click to lock in. Okay, what we're going to do now is press Z to go into wireframe mode. We can see this is selected right here, so we'll press A to deselect there. We'll select here to go to vertices select. We'll press B for box select. We're going to grab not just these groups, because remember, because we're in wireframe mode, we're looking straight through this mesh from the front of the mesh to the back of the mesh. So this group of vertices here, group of vertices here, group of vertices here, and group of vertices there. We want to select all of that right there. So I already pressed B for box select. So now I'm just going to left click and hold, drag this area there. Okay, what I'm going to do now is just pull this out to the side. So I'm about like that. I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm going to press B for box select. I'm going to grab this area right here, pull this out to the side, something like that. I'm going to press A to deselect. Okay, what we're going to do now is press Z to go back to solid view. We're going to hold the middle mouse button, turn to the side. See how this is totally flat here? This is totally flat here. We don't want that, so we're going to go to face select. We're going to press C for paint select. We're going to select these faces here. I'm going to right click to get out of paint select. I'm going to press S to scale on the Y axis, right? So then I'm going to push in, and basically what you can kind of see what's going on by me doing this. This has like a little bit of a curve to it. That has kind of like a curve to it there as well. I'm going to select right here. I'm going to press Z and then go to wireframe. I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm going to go to vertices select. I'm going to press B for box select. I'm going to select right here, pull this back just a little bit. Okay, what we're going to do is just adjust some of these vertices right here. So we're going to press O to turn on proportional editing tool. We're going to press B for box select. We're going to grab these right here, press G, move these forward and up some like that. Press A to deselect. Select here, press G, move this up a little bit. And I'm moving these, just getting them in a line kind. I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm going to press B for right here. Just moving these out and up like that. Press A to deselect, B for box select. And the reason why I press B for box select is when I'm dealing with wireframe and I'm looking through the mesh, pretty much I'm doing B so that when you're in different situations where you would possibly need to pull more than one vertex, it's useful. Okay, what we're going to do now is press A to deselect. I'm going to press Z, go back to solid view. I'm going to hover my mouse around here. I'm going to press Control R. I'm going to left click to lock in, left click again to totally lock in. And basically what we have here, this loop cut right here is so the arm can come out. This loop cut right here is to basically be around the bottom of the chest. What we're going to do is press R to rotate on the X axis. Whoops. I'm going to turn off this proportional editing tool. Pressing O, and I'm going to press R to rotate on the X axis, about like that. Push it down slightly. I'm just holding the middle mouse button to take a look. And now what we're going to do now is go to face select, and we're going to actually press C for paint select. Select all these faces here. We're going to push this out a little here. I'm going to press A to deselect, hold the middle mouse button to turn. I'm going to press C for paint select, select all this, right click, holding the middle mouse button to turn. I'm going to pull this back slightly. Now with that done, I'm going to press A to deselect with face select still on. We're going to press C for paint select, select all of this, right click to lock in. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button just to turn a little bit more. We're going to press S to scale on the Y axis. About like that. That's how it should look. I'm going to press A to deselect. Okay, I'm going to hold the middle mouse button and we're just going to go to vertices select. Let's push this up here, push this down a little bit there. We'll select there, hold shift, select here, pull this back slightly here, select here, pull this forward slightly there, maybe this a little bit more there. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to turn to the side, press A to deselect. I'm going to press and hold shift and the middle mouse button to pan up. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to look to the bottom here. I'm going to press A to select everything, A to deselect everything. I tend to do that if I'm not sure if I'm selected on something. So when I see everything be selected, I know that when I press A again, that nothing is selected. So I'm going to go to face select here. I'm going to press C. I'm going to select these 4 faces here. I'm going to right click to get out of paint select. I'm going to select here to go to front view. I'm going to hold shift and the middle mouse button to pan. I'm going to press E to extrude. There's my preview line, so I'm just going to ride that right down about like that. I'm going to left click to lock in. I'm going to push this close, here to get this to look like this. You want to be careful you don't cross over the center line there. I'm going to select right. To go to right view, I'm going to hold shift and the middle mouse button to pan. I'm going to press Z, then wireframe. I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm going to push here to press vertices select. I'm going to select these vertices here, push this up, press A to deselect, select these vertices here, push this up. I'm going to press A to deselect, B for box select. I'm actually going to pull this back some, like that. Press A to deselect, B for box select, push that forward some. Then I'm going to press Z to go to wireframe mode. I'm going to press Z to go back to wireframe mode. I'm going to press A to deselect. I just took a look. I want that to be a little bit down further. And I'm going to press, actually I'm going to press B for box. Whoops. Okay. B for box select. I'm going to select here. Push this down a little. Pull it back a little bit. Press A to deselect. I'm going to press Control R to put a loop cut right here. Pull this down just slightly. Left click to lock in. I'm going to press Z to go to solid view. Then I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to turn back to the front. Okay, now we're going to press A to deselect. I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to hold shift and the middle mouse button to pan. I'm going to select here. While holding, and I'm going to select there. Then I'm going to hold shift and select here. Hold the middle mouse button just to take a look. I'm going to pull up slightly right here. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button and turn back. I'm going to select here. I'm going to hold shift and select here and pull up slightly right here. Hold the middle mouse button to turn. I'm going to take this vertex, push this forward just slightly. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button here. I'm going to press Z, not C, sorry. I'm going to go to vertex, select. I'm going to select here to go right to right view. Pull this in, not too much. I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm going to press B for box select, select here. Pull this in. Push this down some. I'm going to press A to deselect. B for box select. I'm going to pull this out some. I'm going to press A to deselect. B for box select. Push this down. Push this in some. I'm going to press A to deselect. B for box select. Select this and pull this up some. Okay, I'm going to press Z to go back to solid view. And then A to deselect. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to box select. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button and turn to the side just slightly. I'm going to go to paint select. I'm going to select all of these faces right here. I'm going to right click to get out of paint select. Select X to bring up our delete menu. And then I'm going to choose faces to delete the faces there. I'm now going to go to vertices select. I'm going to select here. Roll the mouse wheel to zoom in. Select here while holding shift. And now I'm going to hold the middle mouse button just to get a better look. I'm going to press E to extrude to about here. I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm going to select this vertex, this, and this. Hold the middle mouse button just to make sure I grab the right vertices. I'm going to press F to fill. I'm going to select here, hold shift, select here, here, and here. Press F to fill. Hold the middle mouse button and take a look. Okay, I'm going to select here to go to front view. I'm going to press Z to go to wireframe. I'm going to press B for box select. Oops, press A to deselect, sorry. I'm going to select all of this right here. Press this down just a little bit more. A to deselect, Z for solid view. Select here, make this a little bit wider. Okay, I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm going to go to edge select. I'm going to hold Alt. Because I'm holding Alt, when I click here, it's going to select this entire edge loop like that, which is what we want. Roll the mouse wheel to zoom back. Holding the middle mouse button just to go to the front. I'm going to press E to extrude. Drag this down about like this. When you bring this down, one of the things you want to think about is you don't want this line crossing over with your virtual side or your mirror side here. So make sure that you have enough space between your legs so that as you work, these lines aren't, crossing over. I'm going to press W to bring up our specials menu. Then I'm going to choose smooth. Press W for specials. Choose smooth again. Push this down. I'm going to press R to rotate. Then left click to lock in. Push down a little bit more. And because I don't want a curve in there like that, because I find it's easier to work with when it's flat, I'm going to press S to scale on the Z axis 0, and that will flatten that out. I'm going to left click to lock in. One thing to remember here that's important is see how it's coming straight down. You don't want your legs to come straight down. You want to push forward just a little bit. Not too much, but how you see there. I'm going to press E to extrude. Like I said, we'll come back. I'm going to left click to lock in. We'll come back and do more details later. Okay, and let's pull this up just a little. We're going to press S to scale on the X axis like this. Left click to lock in. Hold to look at the side. And if you notice, see how from the front, it's like, oh yeah, it looks going into the knee. That's what's going on. But then you look to the side, and you can see how wide it is. So it's important that you look, front to side as you model. So I'm going to press S to scale on the Y axis like this. Left click to lock in. Hold the middle mouse button to turn back to the front. Okay, so now we're going to press E to extrude on the Z axis. There's our preview line showing us where we're going to go. We come down to about here. Now when this knee comes out here, and we came straight down, right? This is another thing that is important. See how the leg is going? You want to pull back like that. You want to have a tilt going back on this second line of the knee. All right. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to turn back to the front. I'm going to press E to extrude on the Z axis. Bring this down to about here. I'm going to press S to scale on the X axis. Take that out like that. I'm going to hold, turn to the side. You can see, it's pretty skinny looking there. I'm going to press S to scale on the Y axis like that. Now when I press S to scale on the Y axis, I'm going to roll the middle mouse button to zoom in. You see how this line went past the knee? You don't want that. So you're just going to pull back so that this line is not going past the knee there. So I'm holding the middle mouse button to look back towards the front. Okay, now we're going to press E to extrude on the Z axis again. About like that. We're going to press S to scale on the X axis like this. Hold the middle mouse button and turn to the side. Press S to scale on the Y axis like this. Left click to lock in. Okay, I'm going to hold the middle mouse button and turn back to the front. I'm going to hold shift and the middle mouse button to pan. I'm going to press S to scale on the X axis. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button just to turn slightly. I'm going to press E to extrude on the Z axis. Come down about like that. Left click to lock in. Okay, we're going to press A to deselect. We're going to make sure we're on edge select. We're going to select right here. We're going to pull this over slightly. We're going to select here, hold shift and select here. Hold the middle mouse button and turn to the side. We're going to press E to extrude and then left click to lock in. Doesn't look like we did anything, but we created new geometry right on top of the old geometry. There's two new edges. Because we have two new edges, we can now take our modifier and push out about like that. push this down some like this. We'll press E to extrude, left click to lock in. We just create a new geometry. We'll go just like this. We're going to press E to extrude, left click to lock in. We'll pull this straight back like this. Okay, I'm going to hold the middle mouse button. I want to straighten this out, so I'm going to press S. This is the vertices, that's what I'm talking about. They're kind of like, looks pointy there. I'm going to press S to scale on the Y-axis, 0, and then left click to lock in. Now you can do that manually, or you can do the way I just showed you. Either way, it's fine. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button. I'm going to hold Shift and the middle mouse button and pan. I'm actually going to hold Control and the middle mouse button and push in. That gives you a smoother zoom by holding Control and pushing in with your mouse. I'm going to hold Shift. I'm going to select here and here. So we got two edges selected here, two edges selected here. I'm going to press Control E. This brings up our edges menu, and then I'm going to choose bridge edge loops right there. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button and turn to the side. Okay, I'm going to press A to deselect, and we need a geometry right here to match up with there. So we're going to press Control R, left click to lock in. We're going to pull in like this, left click again to totally lock in. And what I'm going to do is go to vertices select. I'm going to select here, hold Shift and select here, here, and here. I'm going to press F to fill that right there. I need another piece right here, so I'm going to press Control R, left click to lock in, pull this back some like this. I'm going to select here while being on vertices select. I'm going to hold Shift and select here, here, and here. Then I'm going to press F to fill there. And then now we just have this right here. So still with vertices select on, I'm going to press A. I'm going to select here, hold Shift and select here, and here, and here. And then I'm going to press F to fill. Okay, and we have this side as well. So I'm going to show you something pretty cool. Instead of doing all of that right there, I'm going to press A. Now I'm going to hold Alt. I'm going to select here. Alright, so I'm on vertices select, and I held Alt and it selected that entire edge loop. Now I'm going to press Control F. This brings up our faces menu. I'm going to choose here where it says grid fill, and it just filled that all in for us automatically. So that's pretty cool. Again, it doesn't, you don't have to use that. It's just something to make things quicker. But it, you don't have to do that. You can manually do it just like how we did it on the other side. If by some chance you're having some kind of issue with grid fill, or if grid fill didn't show up for whatever reason, either way is good. Okay, so what we're going to do now is press A to deselect. I'm going to press Control R, hover my mouse here, press Control R now. Anyway, I'm going to left click there, and then left click to lock in. I'm going to go to Edge select here, hold Shift and select here. Push this down some. I'm going to select here, select these two faces here, hold the middle mouse button. I'm going to take the manipulator and pull this back to about like that. I'm going to press S to scale on the Y axis, 0, just to flatten that out like so. I'm now going to press E to extrude, left click to lock in, and I'm just going to push out this geometry here. Okay, now what we're going to do is press A to deselect. I'm going to select here and press E to extrude, left click to lock in. And take this out to the side about like that. Hold the middle mouse button and turn to the side. I'm going to press and select this face here. I'm going to press E to extrude, left click to lock in and create new geometry. So we're just going to pull out like this. Then we're going to press E to extrude, left click to lock in, and pull out about like that. Okay, and what we're trying to do here is just get the basic geometry in. Like I said, we can reshape it later. So what we're going to do is we're going to select here. We're going to hold Shift, select here, 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 and here. We could also did paint select. I just chose to do it this way. We're going to click here. We're going to change the pivot point from Blender's default pivot point, which is the medium point, to individual origins. We're then going to press Alt E, which brings up our extrude menu. We're going to choose individual faces. I'm going to left click to lock in, left click again to totally lock in. The reason why we did that was if we did a regular extrude, this would come out as a block. Because we did individual faces, it'll come out, this will come out as its own piece, this will come out as its own piece, and so forth. And then because we have individual origins, we'll be able to scale each of these separately. So what we're going to do now is we're going to press S to scale to get our separation right there. We're gonna left click to lock in. I'm gonna push forward just slightly, get a little bit more. Then I'm gonna press E to extrude, left click to lock in, and I'm gonna take my manipulator and come out just like this. Okay, now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna hold the middle mouse button and turn to the side. I'm gonna go to edge select. I'm gonna hold Alt. It's not really a loop, so holding Alt didn't do much, but I'm gonna hold Shift and select. Would kind of be like a loop all the way around. And then I'm going to drag this back some. And I'm actually going to press O to turn on my proportional editing tool. Then I'm going to press G, then Y. Shrink it a little bit, pull that back some. Like that. I guess I'll press S to scale, make it a little bit bigger. I'm going to go to vertice select. Select that vertice right there. I'll press G and then shrink the area of influence. Pull that back some, like that. I'm going to press O to turn off the proportional editing tool. I'm going to go to edge select. I'm going to select here, hold the middle mouse button, turn to the side. Just pull out to the side a little bit. We can, like I said, we can come back, but since we're right here, hold the middle mouse button and turn to the side. I'll push this back a little. Push this back a little. I'm zooming back just to take a look. Okay, I'm going to press A to deselect. Okay, I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm going to go to face select. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button. I'm going to select right here. Hold shift and select right there. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button and turn back towards the front. I'm going to press E to extrude, left click to lock in. I just created new geometry. I'm going to pull that new geometry out like this. I'm going to press R to rotate on the Y axis like this. I'm going to push up, and I'm going to take the manipulator and push back. I'm going to press S to scale. Push up a little bit higher, back a little bit more, zoom in so we can see a little bit better. And I'm going to press R to rotate on the Y axis. A little bit more like that. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to edge select. I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm going to select this edge right here. Push up a little. I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm going to press Control R. Put a loop cut right here. Left click to lock in. Left click again to totally lock in. And I'm going to select here. Press Shift. Select here, here, here. Roll the mouse button, zoom back. I had rolled it obviously to zoom in. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button, turn to the side. I'm going to hold shift and the middle mouse button to pan. I'm going to press E to extrude on the X axis. About like that. I'm going to press S to scale on the X axis. 0. Left click to lock in. I'm going to press S to scale. Just back some more. Okay, now right here, you can manually make this circular, which is fine. I'm going to use the loop tools options in our specials menu. So I press W to bring up the specials menu, then go up to loop tools, then I'm going to select circle. And that just very quickly makes this circular. You could very easily go to vertice select and also readjust, these vertices so that it also forms a, circle as well. Okay, so we're going to roll back, hold the middle mouse button to turn. We're going to press E to extrude, left click to lock in. Pull out here. We're going to press E to extrude, left click to lock in. Pull out about like that. Press S to scale, left click to lock in. Take a look to the side, which is fine. We're going to press E to extrude, left click to lock in. Pull to about there, press S to scale. Look to the side again just to be sure. In some. And then I'm going to press E to extrude, left click to lock in. I'm going to press E to extrude again, left click to lock in, press S to scale, hold and turn to the side. Now I'm going to press E to extrude again, left click to lock in, pull out about like that. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to zoom in. And for now, I'm going to go to face select. I'm going to select here, hold the middle mouse button to turn, select here. I'm going to press S to scale on the Z axis 0, left click to lock in. I'm going to select these bottom ones right here. S to scale on the Z axis 0, left click to lock in. Select right here to the side. S to scale on the X axis 0. Whoops, wrong. S to scale on the Y axis 0. Left click to lock in. Select here, select here. S to scale, and I'm selecting there while holding shift. S to scale on the Y axis 0. Left click to lock in. And we're basically, forming our fingers here. Those of you who've done, some of my other tutorials might wonder why I started doing my hand like this compared to how I used to do it. When I used to do it, I would cut the top, and it made it slightly difficult to unwrap. This way, because there's no cuts, the geometry tends to flow better. So I like this way better. Anyway, I'm going to go to face select. I'm going to select here, hold shift, and select here. I'm going to press E to extrude, left click to lock in, pull this out like that. Maybe a little bit more. I'm going to go to vertice select and just straighten that up a little bit. I'm going to go back to face select, hold the middle mouse button, select here, push that in a little bit. I'm going to press E to extrude, left click to lock in, pull this out some like that. Okay, so I'm going to select here, hold shift, select here, here, and here. I am going to, we still have the individual origins point on. So now I'm going to press Alt E to bring up our extrude menu. I'm going to choose individual faces, left click to lock in. Whoops, I'm going to right click to get out of that. Press S to scale down some, like that. I'm going to push out like this. Then I'm going to press E to extrude, left click to lock in. Come all the way out like this. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to take a look. Select this one, pull this one out a little bit further. This one a little bit further like this. I'll take this one, push that back just slightly. Okay, what I'm going to do now is press Z to go to wireframe. I'm going to hold Control, hold the right mouse button. This allows me to select with a loop. It's very useful. I'm going to press Z, select solid. I'm going to hold shift and deselect those two faces there. I'm going to pull this geometry forward somewhat like that. I'm going to go back to edge select. I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm going to hold Alt. I just grab those two lines there, and I'm just holding shift, holding the middle mouse button. Holding the middle mouse button to turn. Just trying to drag, what's kind of like a loop. Holding the middle mouse button to turn again. So now I'm just going to push this back, something like that. And I'll press S to scale on the Y axis. Slightly like that. Hold the middle mouse button to take a look. Okay, I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm going to go to face select. I'm going to select right here. So we got two faces right here. I'm selecting not both and not the top and the bottom. Selecting just the bottom. Holding the middle mouse button to turn. Rolling the mouse wheel to zoom back and pressing E to extrude on the Y axis and taking this out about like that. I'm going to press S to scale on the Y axis 0. Left click to lock in. Okay, I'm going to push this in just a little bit more. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to turn. Hold shift and the middle mouse button pan. I'm going to press S to scale on the Z axis. Move this in a little bit. I'm going to press E to extrude. Left click to lock in. Just like that. Then I'm going to press E to extrude. Left click to lock in again. Take that out about like that. Looking from the top, it's kind of long. I'll bring it in some. So I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm going to go to, we're on face select. I'm going to hold Alt to select this edge loop. I'll pull this in and maybe push that back slightly. Okay, what we're going to do now is press A to deselect. Go to edge select. I'm going to select here, hold shift, and select here. Push this back and out to the side, something like that. I'm going to select this top edge right here, hold the middle mouse button to turn. So you can see I'm going to push this down something like that. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button, look under here, roll the mouse wheel to zoom in, hold shift, and select all these while holding shift. I'm going to take this and push up. I'm going to press A to deselect. Okay, now I'm going to hold the middle mouse button. I'm going to press Control R, roll the mouse wheel one time to get 2 loop cuts, left click to lock in, left click again to totally lock in, and then press Control R here, roll one time, left click to lock in, left click again to totally lock in, hovering over this mouse finger, pressing Control R, roll once, left click again to totally lock in, hovering over this finger, pressing Control R, rolling once, left click second time to totally lock in. Okay, what we're going to do now is press A to deselect. I'm going to roll the mouse wheel back. I'm going to hold shift and middle mouse button to pan. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to rotate up. I'm going to make sure I'm on edge select, which I am. I'm going to select here, push this down slightly. I'm going to press Control R to put a loop cut right here. I'm going to left click to lock it in. I'm going to left click again to totally lock it in. I'm going to select this edge right here. I'm going to push this down like that. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button, zoom in, go to vertices, select here, push this down right here, select here, push this down right here. Just hold the middle mouse button just to take a look. I'm going to take this vertice, push this down, hold the middle mouse button to turn back. Okay, now we're going to go and make sure we're on edge select again. We're going to select here, hold shift, you zoom in, hold the middle mouse button to rotate, hold shift here. I'm going to push this down so you can see kind of what I'm doing. I'm going to hold shift and the middle mouse button here, hold the middle mouse button there. Let me grab here, hold the middle mouse button, rotate, roll on the mouse wheel to zoom in. Just pull that out some there, push this down some here. I'm going to select here, push down here, push down up a little bit there, just a little bit more here. I'm going to press Control R to put a loop cut right here. I'm going to left click to lock in. Okay, I'm going to click there, and I'm going to select here and here, push this down a little bit, grab this, push this down some here. I don't want this bunching up right here, so I'm gonna hold the middle mouse button and turn. Hold the middle mouse button to rotate. Okay, I'm gonna hold the middle mouse button to rotate. I'm gonna hold shift and the middle mouse button to pan. I'm gonna make sure I'm on edge select. I'm gonna hold Alt. I'm gonna select right here. I'm going to make sure that I'm not on the individual origins, which is what we're on right now. I'm going to change this back to Blender's default pivot point, which is the medium point. I'm then going to press Alt S and pull down some, and that just makes this line come out some more. I'm going to press Alt S a little bit more, left click to lock in. And go to vertices, select this vertice here. Adjust these ones here, they're looking kind of strange. Hold the middle mouse button just to turn. Okay, and we're going to go to edge select. We're going to select here, hold shift, select here, push this out and down a little, like that. Okay, I'm going to go to phase select now. I'm going to select right here. I'm going to press O to turn on my proportional editing tool. I'm going to roll the mouse wheel to zoom back, hold the middle mouse button to turn. I'm going to press G and then Z. I'm rolling the mouse wheel to make the area of influence bigger. Okay. I go here. I'm going to go to edge select, select here. I'm going to press G. No, I just pull to the side a little bit. Pull this down some like that. Roll the mouse wheel back. Take a look. I'm going to hold Alt on this edge loop. Push this down. that. I'm going to press O to turn the proportional editing tool off. I'm going to zoom in, hold shift and middle mouse button to pan. Go to vertices, select, pull this up a little. Hold the middle mouse button to turn. Okay, we're going to hover our mouse here now. We're going to press Control R. Left click to lock in one time, just once, because we want to push this in like here. Left click to lock in a second time. Press S to scale. And again, this stuff right here, don't let that get to you too much. We can adjust this stuff later on though. We'll adjust this slightly now. I'm going to hold Alt and select this edge loop here. Push that down. So I'm going to press S to scale on X-axis. I'll select here. I'll press Alt O, which is a special type of proportional editing tool. I'm going to press G and then X to pull this out some, like that. Okay, what we're going to do now is press O. When we press O, it'll turn us to the regular proportional editing tool. The connected proportional editing tool allows you to move things, multiple edges and faces, but move them to only what is connected to whatever vertice, edge, or face you're connected to. Proportional editing tool kind of grabs everything in its area of influence. Anyway, I'm going to press O. This turns it back to the regular proportional editing tool, and then I'm going to press it again to turn it off. To turn off the connected proportional editing tool. Okay, now I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm going to press Control R, put a loop cut right here. Left click once to lock in, left click again to totally lock in. I want this to be straight up and down, so I'm going to press S to scale on the X-axis 0. Left click to lock in. I want to make this bigger, so I'm going to press Alt S and pull down. Then left click to lock in. I'm going to press S to scale on the Y-axis. Make it a little bit bigger that way. I'm going to press A to deselect, Z to go to wireframe mode. I'm going to press and hold Control. Hold the right mouse button, which allows me to have a loop select like this. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button. I'm going to press S to scale. I'm going to push this in some here like that. I'm going to hold Shift and the middle mouse button. I'm going to press A to deselect, Z, and then select solid. I am going to go to Edge Select, hold Alt, select right here. Okay, I'm going to press Alt S to scale this up some. Left click to lock in. Then throw over this area. I'm going to go to Phase Select. I'm going to select here, zoom in by rolling the mouse. I'm going to hold Shift and middle mouse button to pan. Select here, here, and here. I'm going to temporarily turn this pivot point from the default pivot point, which is a medium point, back to individual origins like we had it before. I'm going to press Alt E, which brings up our extrude menu. I'm going to choose individual faces. Left click to lock in. Left click again, totally lock in. I'm press S to scale. Because it's on individual faces, each one scales down. And I'm just going to pull this up somewhat like that. Okay, I'm going to zoom back. I'm going to press A to deselect. Hold Shift and middle mouse button to pan. Shift and middle mouse button to pan again. I'm going to face select, push down here a little bit more. I'm going to go to face select here, select all this right here, hold the middle mouse button to turn to the side. And I'm going to press E to extrude, left click to lock in. I'm going to press S to scale. This. Okay, I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to turn. I'm going to push this out somewhat like this. I'm going to press S to scale on the Z axis like that. Okay, now I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm going to go to Edge Select. I'm going to select right here, hold the middle mouse button to turn, push this out like that. I'm just taking a look at everything. Okay, what you're going to do now is press A to deselect. Hover your mouse right here. You're going to press Control R to put a loop cut in. Left click to lock in. Left click again to totally lock in. You're going to press Control R here. Left click in to lock in. Left click again to totally lock in. And go to a vertice select. Just push down here. What we're going to do now is we're actually going to zoom back some. Press A to deselect. I'm going to press Z to go to wireframe. We're going to make sure we're in vertice select, which we are. We're going to hold Control, hold the right mouse button. We're going to go right here, all the way around here. Grab all that so we can see we have this whole part right here. And this we're going to just pull up slightly. Z, and then solid. Good. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button. I'm going to zoom in by rolling the mouse wheel to zoom in. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to face select here, hold shift, select here. We're going to temporarily turn off clipping. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button, turn to the side. I'm going to press E to extrude, left click to lock in, push straight out, not too much. Press S to scale. Same thing here, hold shift, select there, turn to the side just so I can see the depth. Press E to extrude. I'm going to ride that out a little bit. No access, and because I didn't use an access, it's spread the abs out like I want them spread anyway. Press S to scale. Select here, hold shift, select here, press E to extrude, left click to lock in. I should have just wrote it out. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm going to press S to scale. I said wrote it out. What I mean is like follow the normals, if that makes sense to you. Anyway, now that we have these ones here, what we're going to do is turn clipping back on. Select here, here, or here and here. Hold the middle mouse button just to get a better look. We're going to press E to extrude, left click to lock in, because we don't want this being a separate piece there. Since we have that done, we're going to press A to deselect. With face select on, we're going to select here, 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 and here, and here. Turn to the side so we can see. We're just going to push this out a little. Zooming back just to take a look. It's good. Press A to deselect. Okay, I'm going to hold the middle mouse button, turn to the side, go to edge select this edge right here. Hold the middle mouse button and turn back towards the front. Pull this out to the side. So now we got some, lats on them. Okay, well, it's actually his rib cage here. So what we'll do is we're actually going to grab here, and this would be his actual lat. Latimus, good old Latimus Dorsey there. I'm going to press Control R, put a loop cut right here, left click to lock in. Then I'm going to press Alt S, pull down slightly. I'm going to go to vertice select here. Pull this out to the side a little. Actually, let me push this back in a little. Grab here, that's vertice. I'm holding the middle mouse button, turn this pulled out to the side some. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button, turn to the back. I'm going to hold shift to the middle mouse button to pan. Press A to deselect, hold the middle mouse button again to swivel the view a little bit more. Okay, I'm going to go to edge select. I'm going to select here, pull this edge down like that, select this edge, pull this down some like that. I'm going to select here, hold shift and select here. We want to grab this and grab here as well. Pull this down like this. Go to vertice, select here. Pull that to the side some like that. Vertice here. I'm going to select here and here. Hold the middle mouse button to take a look. I want this still up like that. Okay. Hold the middle mouse button to rotate. We're going to go to face select. We're going to select here and here. Hold the middle mouse button. We're going to temporarily turn off clipping. We're also going to click here and change this from the individual origins that was on back to the medium point, which is Blender's default pivot point. And what we're going to do is press, let me move my mouse here before I press anything. I'm going to press E to extrude. That ride back just a little. I'm going to press S to scale down some. Pull that back a little bit more. Okay, now we're going to press A to deselect. We're going to press Control R, put a loop cut right here, put it pretty close to this line right there, like that. Hold the middle mouse button to rotate. Roll the mouse wheel just to zoom back. I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm going to press Control R to put a loop cut right here. Left click to lock in there. Okay, I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm going to hold Shift and middle mouse button to pan. I'm going to put a loop cut right here. Hold Shift and middle mouse button to pan again. Press Control R. Left click to lock in. Left click again to totally lock in. I'm going to hold Alt and press S. Pull down some. Oh, look at that. Okay. So crossing over a little bit. So I'm going to go to face select. Select here. Hold Shift. Select here. Push that to the side a little. Select here. Press S to scale. Select here and here. Press S to scale. I'm just trying to get them not to intersect is basically what I'm doing. Just selecting them, holding Shift. Select here, hold Shift, select here. Press S to scale. Select here and here. Press S to scale. Might as well select that. Push this out a little. Select here, holding Shift to select multiple phases. Push that out. Push this out a little bit more. Oops, Control Z. Just hold them, whoops. Hold the middle mouse button to rotate the view when I am, and I'm selecting multiple items by holding Shift. I'm basically trying to get just a diagonal pattern kind of going on here. Middle mouse button there. Okay, I'm going to hold the middle mouse button and I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm going to press Control R to put a loop cut in. I'm going to roll the mouse wheel once. Left click to lock in. Left click again to totally lock in. I'm going to press S to scale on the Z axis here. Then Alt S. Pull in just slightly. Press A to deselect. I'm going to press and hold Control and R. Roll one time. Left click once, then twice to lock in. Press S to scale. Z axis slightly. Then I'm going to press Alt S. Push up slightly. Left click to lock in. Press A to deselect. Control R. Roll the mouse wheel once. Left click to lock in. Left click again to totally lock in. Press S to scale on the Z axis. Just slightly. I'm going to press Alt S, push up slightly, press A to deselect, Control R, roll the mouse wheel one time, left click to lock in, left click again to totally lock in, press S to scale on the Z axis slightly, press Alt S, push up slightly. I'm going to press Control R, roll the mouse wheel once, left click to lock in, left click again to totally lock in, press S to scale on the Z axis slightly. Then Alt S, push up slightly, then left click to lock in. Okay, I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm going to select front from here. Then I'm going to press my home key just to be able to see the mesh quickly from the front. I'm going to roll your mouse wheel to zoom in. I'm going to hold the shift and middle mouse button to pan. I'm going to press the N key to bring up the properties menu. I'm going to zoom up. I'm going to go to display. Then I'm going to unclick grid floor. I'm going to press N to take that away. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to vertices select. I'm going to select right here. Pull this down. I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to select right here. Pull this down. I learned a cool shortcut the other day called the shortest point. So I want to grab right here, right? So normally if you grab a loop cut, you'll hit Alt or press Alt, and it'll select the whole loop cut. Well, this, I guess it's shortest path. I select this vertex here, I hold Control, and then I select the vertex here, and it automatically selects just from here to there. So it's kind of like using a loop cut, but not. I don't know, it's useful, and we'll use it a lot here. So hold the middle mouse button to turn. Push this down here. I want to select here. I don't want to select there. So I'm going to hold Control. So I'm holding Control, then I left click, and it grabs from here, from here, and forms a path basically to where I click that. So pretty cool. Pushing and pulling vertices here. I want to grab this here. So again, this would be a perfect thing, like example. Like I would normally press Alt to select the whole loop cut, but I don't want to select the whole loop cut. I don't want to select this. I just want from here to here. So what I did was, with this vertex selected, I hold Control. I select here while holding Control, and it selects from here to here. So I like that a lot. I'm going to hold Shift and deselect here. Push this down a little bit more. I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm going to hold Alt to select here. I'm going to pull this whole thing up. I'm going to zoom back. Hold Shift and the mouse button to pan. Zoom in some. I'm going to select this here. Pull this up some here. I'm going to select there. Hold Control. Select here. Pull that down some. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to turn back to the front. This up something like that. Okay, now we're going to press Control R, left click to lock in. One left click so we can move it. We're going to move it down to about here. Left click again to lock in. I'm now going to deselect right here and here. Push this down something like that. I'm selecting here. I just click there just to move this sometimes temporarily so I can see and select it. I'm going to hold Control. Well, now I'm holding the middle mouse, but now I'm holding Control. Push this down some. Hold the middle mouse button to turn back to the front. Holding Shift and selecting here to push this down some. Now I'm going to press Control R. I want that right. No, I don't want that yet. I'm going to click here, pull this down like that. Then I'm actually going to select here and here and here. And what I'm going to do is press S to scale on the Z axis. I'm going to press O for proportional editing tool. To turn it on, I'm going to press G and then Z. Move this up some like this. Okay, what you want to do with this next step is make sure you have a check mark here next to clipping. So clipping is turned on. You want to press O to turn your proportional editing tool off. You're going to press E to extrude, left click to lock in. Doesn't look like we did anything, but we just created new geometry there. I'm going to press S to scale. About like that. Push in a little bit like that. I'm going to go to edge select. I'm going to select this edge. Push this in like here. Select this edge. Push this in. And then I'm going to go and adjust the vertices accordingly, so they're not, too stretched out from doing that. That's what I'm doing now, is just pushing these vertices in. And the reason why I'm doing that is I'm looking at this, loop coming down. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you don't want it being, totally off or without having a good reason for it. Okay, now with that, what I'm going to do is, with that done, I'm going to select here. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to turn. I'm going to hold shift and middle mouse button to pan. I'm going to hold control and then left click right here. Pull that up, hold the middle mouse button to turn back. I'm going to select this vertex here, push this in here, push this in here, push this in here. Hold the middle mouse button to turn back to the side again. Push this up some here. And what I'm going to do now is go to face select. I'm going to select here, and here, and here, and here. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to turn just to get a better view for what I'm about to do. I'm going to press E to extrude, left click to lock in. Actually, that's upcoming. I'm going to press S to scale. No axis, then S to scale on the Y axis, like this. Now I'm going to hold the middle mouse button. This is what I thought I was doing at first. I'm going to press E to extrude on the X axis, like this. I'm going to press R to rotate on the Z axis. That. R to rotate on the Z axis a little bit more. I'm going to go to vertice select and pull this up some. Push this down some. Pull this out to the side. I'm going to zoom in here. Hold shift and middle mouse button to pan. I'm going to select here. Roll the mouse wheel to zoom in. I'm going to hold shift, select here. I'm going to press Alt M. My merge menu pops up. I'm going to choose at last. Now I'm going to select here, hold shift, and select here, and I'm going to press shift R. And shift R, I believe, is repeat last command, so a little bit just takes away, I believe, one step out of that, but it's still nice. So I'm clicking here, holding shift, selecting here, and I'm going to press shift R. And that just repeated that merge. I'm going to go to face select, select here, hold shift, select here, here, and here. I'm going to press E to extrude, left click to lock in, press S to scale, and press E to extrude, S to scale. Okay, now we want to have this face is like flat here. We want this to pull back some, so we're going to click here, pull back some like that. And what we're going to do is go to face select, select here, hold shift, select here, here, and here. Then we're going to press E to extrude, left click to lock in, press S to scale. I'll roll the mouse wheel to zoom in. And then with these faces still selected, you want to turn to the side and you want to actually push this forward. So I'm about like that. Imagine the nose being in. Click here. I'm going to select this and pull this back. I'm going to pull to the side some there. I'm going to select this vertex, push this in, push this in, push this in. I'm going to select here, hold shift, select here and here. Hold the middle mouse button to turn. I'm going to pull this back. Now when you pull this back, you're looking for around where the eye is going to be. So that's kind of like the gauge I'm using, how far I pull the mouth back. I'm going to pull to the side. And now with that done, I'm going to go to face select. I'm going to select here, hold shift, select here, here, and here. I'm going to press X to bring up our delete menu. And I'm going to choose faces to delete the faces. Now I'm going to go to edge select. I'm going to hold Alt, select here, press E to extrude, left click to lock in. Then I'm going to press S to scale. Like that. I'm going to push in like this. Maybe not too much. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to turn. I'm going to drag this back. And the distance I'm looking at is basically this right here. As I model faces and bodies, I'm often finding different ways to do things. Sometimes I like them a lot and they become a permanent part of my modeling. Other times I like them for a while and then they basically fade out and I go back to an older way. It's interesting. You can actually see that in some of the different tutorials on this channel. So anyway, I'm going to hold the middle mouse button. I'm going to go to vertice select. Now see how I pulled the mouth back there? Be careful of these edges. You want to make sure that you don't leave your mouth like this. I'm rolling the mouse with a zoom in. I'm going to hold shift. Just like there. You want to pull this out to the side here and make sure that this is back a little bit behind this right here. Okay, now what we're going to do is press A to deselect, Control R, put a loop cut right here, left click to lock in, left click again, totally lock in. We're going to go to edge select, we're going to select here and here. Now let's select here and here first. Push this out some like that. Push this down some. Push this up some. Okay, with that done, what we're going to do is we're going to press Control R for one loop cut. You're going to roll your mouse wheel one time. Left click to lock in once. Left click again to totally lock in. I'm going to go to vertice select. We're going to select here and here. We're going to pull out our chin from here. So you're just going to push straight out like that. Pull like that. Okay. And what we're trying to do here is just get in a basic shape. So for this lip, we want a fairly hard line around the lip. So what we're going to do is press Control R, put another loop cut right here. We're going to push in pretty close about there. Left click to lock in to go around that. The lips are going to be formed there. What we're going to do now is go to face select. Okay, now you're going to select here, hold shift, select here, here, and here. You're going to hold the middle mouse button and turn to the side. You're going to press E to extrude on the Y axis to bring this out. Like that distance, just rotating so you can see the distance. You're going to press S to scale on the Z axis. Like that. You're going to pull back some. You're going to go to edge select. You're going to take this, push this in like this. You're going to grab here, pull up, and then back. Grab here, pull up, then back. Grab here, pull up, and then back. Hold the middle mouse button to take a look. Okay, one of the things we want to do now is flatten these eyes out some. So I'm going to go to face select. I'm going to select here and here and here. And I'm going to press R to rotate on the Z axis. This. I'm going to press S to scale on the X axis like that. I'm going to press R to rotate on the Z axis like this. And S to scale on the X axis like that. Push this forward some. Well, let me Control Z. You don't want this being pushed forward. I'm going to press S to scale on the Z axis a little. I'm going to press Control R to put a loop cut right here. Left click to lock in. I'm going to go to vertice select. Pull this back some. I'm going to face select. Actually push this up some. Go to vertice select here. There we go. Nope, it's not. There we go. Push this up here and this up here. Back there. Pull this back some here. Back some here. Just trying to get the basic shape going on here. I'm going to press Z, go to wireframe. I'm going to hold the control and the right mouse button to draw a loop select right here. I'm going to press S this. Nope, I'm going to right click to get out of that. I'm going to press Z, then go to solid mode. I'm going to press S to scale on the X axis. I'm actually going to go like that, and I'm going to pull away. I press S to scale on the X axis again. I'm actually pulling away. Okay, now I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm going to go to wireframe mode. I'm going to grab all of this right here. Press Z, go back to solid view. Push this in some here. Press A to deselect. Go to face select. Select here. And basically, I had the eyes should be fairly flat here. This part of the mouth you want very curved. The eyes should be for the most part flat. Pressing R to rotate on the Z axis. And somehow I did not get that before, and it makes it much easier to set the eyes when they are, as part of your eyes are flattened somewhat. And I'm still learning. I welcome tips. Sometimes I think I'm making a lot of progress, sometimes a little bit of progress. But anyway, I'm going to press E to extrude. Left click to lock in. I'm going to press S to scale here. I'm going to press S to scale on the Z axis like this. S to scale on the X axis like this. Hold the middle mouse button and take a look. Okay, I'm going to pull back some like that. And I'm going to go to vertice select. I'm going to select here. Push this down some. This out some. Okay, what we're going to do now is go to face select. We're going to select here, hold shift, select here. I'm going to press E to extrude on the X axis like this. S to scale. I'm going to, whoops, R to rotate. Now I'm going to press S to scale like this. I'm going to push back like this, push down. What I'm going to do now is go with face select on. I'm going to select here and here. I'm going to unclick clipping temporarily. I'm going to press E to extrude, left click to lock in, press S to scale. I unclicked clipping so that this would spread here, where this whole section would have shrank if we didn't have that clipping unselected. So we're going to re-select it now. I'm going to roll the mouse wheel to zoom in. I'm going to press E to extrude on the Z axis. I lost the Z, so I'm going to press it again. I'm going to take it up like that. Press S to scale inside a little. I'm going to go to edge select, push this forward some. I'm going to select here, push this down some. I'm just taking a look. Right, I'm going to push it out here, actually a little there. I'm going to go to edge select, push out some here, back a little bit there. Okay, I'm going to go back to face select. That's like right here, 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 and here. I am going to press E to extrude, left click to lock in. I'm going to drag this back just slightly. Press S to scale a little bit. Then press X to choose the delete menu. Select faces to delete the faces there. I'm going to go to edge select here. I'm going to hold Alt, select there. This loop, so I selected that whole edge loop there. I'm going to press Shift S. I'm going to choose that Shift S brings up our Snap to menu. I'm going to choose Cursor to selected. I'm going to click here, go to Object Mode. We've been in Edit Mode the entire time. Now here we are in Object Mode. In Blender, objects tend to come in to where your 3D cursor is at. So our 3D cursor is right here because we selected that loop and did the whole, snap cursor to selected. So what we're going to do now is press Shift A. This brings up our Mesh Add To menu. We're going to go down to UV Sphere. This segment pops over here to the left, or this menu. It has 32 segments. You're going to click here, change this to 12. Go to Rings, change this to 12. Left click to lock in. We're then going to go to Edit Mode. We're going to press R to rotate on the x-axis, 90. Left click to lock in. Press S to scale. The middle mouse button. We'll put this back some. Control Z. I just want to pull it back. I'm going to select here. We're in global view. I'm going to select here to go to local. Everything looks like it disappeared. It's still there. We're just in local view, which allows us to just focus on one object. So we're going to press A to deselect. We're going to go to face select. We're going to press C for paint select. We're going to select all of this right here. When I right click to get out of paint select, I'm going to hold the middle mouse button and turn to the side. I'm going to press S to scale. On the Y axis, -1. Left click to lock in. I'm going to pull this back some, like here. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button and turn to the front. I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm going to press C for paint select. To grab these faces right here, I'm going to right click. Hold the middle mouse button and turn to the side. I'm going to press E to extrude on the Y axis in like that. Left click to lock in. I'm going to press A to deselect. Roll the mouse wheel to zoom in. Hold the middle mouse button to turn. I'm going to go to Edge Select. I'm going to hold Alt, select this edge loop here. I'm going to press Control B to bevel about that far. Left click to lock in. This menu here pops up where it says segment. You're going to change this to 2. Profile, you're going to change this to 1. Left click to lock in. I'm going to hold Alt to select right here. I'm going to press Control B. Same thing like that. The settings are already set up, so that's good. We're now going to press A and then A again to select everything. We're going to press Control 2. This automatically puts a subdivision surface modifier on here. You could have got to it by selecting here as well, but Control 2 is a nice way to get to it. We're going to click here to make it look like the modifier is applied. Because we did Control 2, we'll put a view of 2 on this, which is fine. We're going to press Z and then select Shade Smooth. We're now going to click here to go back to the regular view. We're going to click here, go to Object Mode. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button like this. Zoom in. I'm going to hold Shift and middle mouse button to pan. I'm going to click here. So we're selected on the face. As a matter of fact, let me click here to change the name from Cube to Hidden Mesh. With this selected on, we're going to click here, go to Edit Mode. I'm going to select right here and here. I'm going to press Control. I'm going to press I'm right clicking to get out of that. I'm going to press O to put on a proportional editing tool. I'm going to press G so I can see the area of influence. I'm going to roll this in, shrink it down. I'm going to press Y to pull this back some, like that. Push it to the side some. Now what I'm going to do is press A to deselect. I'm going to press O to turn off the proportional editing tool. I'm going to hold Alt, and I'm on Edge Select. I'm going to select right here. I'm going to press E to extrude, left click to lock in. We're still selected on it. We can use this eye to kind of like see what's going on. This, the mirror geometry. So I'm going to press S to scale. This. And then I'm going to pull this back some like that. Press S to scale on the x-axis like that. And now what we're going to do now is click here, go to Object Mode. We're going to select this eye. We're going to press Shift D, which duplicated. I just pull it to the side. I'm going to select right to get it to jump right back into the position it was when we made it. what you're going to do now is click on this pivot point, select 3D cursor. You're then going to press Shift C to put the 3D cursor directly in the center. I'm going to roll the mouse wheel to zoom in, hold Shift and middle mouse button to pan. I'm going to select front view here. And then with that second eye selected and with this 3D cursor here and this pivot point set to have everything will now pivot on a 3D cursor. You're going to press S to scale on the x-axis, -1. Left click to lock in, and it makes that second eye jump right into the spot on the other side. So that that works very well. So now that we have that done, we're going to click here, change the pivot point from the 3D cursor back to Blender's default pivot point, which is the medium point. Okay, I'm going to roll the mouse wheel to zoom back. And I'm going to select here on the main mesh. I've named it head mesh. Let me name this to main mesh. I'm confused myself. Main mesh. We're going to click edit. To go to edit mode, I'm going to select right here. I'm going to press O to turn on the proportional editing tool. I'm going to press G to be able to see it. I'm going to roll the influence up and pull down here some, like that. I'm going to go to vertices select. I'm going to select right here. Pull this down a little here. I'm going to press O to turn off the proportional editing tool. I'm going to go to face select. I'm going to select right here and here. Hold the middle mouse button to turn. I'm going to press E to extrude on the y-axis like this. Hold the middle mouse button to turn. I'm going to press S to scale this down some. Then I'm going to go to Tools and select Smooth. I'll press S to scale on the x-axis just a little. Going back to take a look at everything that we have here. Okay, I'm going to press A to deselect. And most of the body is done, which is good. So what we're going to do now is we're going to hover our mouse here. I'm going to press Control R to put a loop cut in. We're going to left click to lock in, left click again to totally lock in. Then we're going to press Alt S and pull down some. Left click to lock in. And then while we have this here, I am my brain. Okay, yeah. While we have that here, we're going to press Control E. Then we're going to choose Mark Seam. We're going to hold Alt, select here, hold the middle mouse button. I'm holding Shift and Alt, and I'm selecting here, and here, and here. And then I'm going to press Control E, Mark Seam. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button here. I'm going to zoom in here. I'm going to select here and here. Actually, now I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm going to select here and here and here and here and here. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to turn back. Selecting all right here. These edges to put seams in. So come down here. I'm going to hold Alt. Select here. We'll press Control E for to choose. That brings up our edges menu. We're going to choose Mark Seam. I'm going to roll the mouse wheel back. We're going to select here. I'm going to hold Alt, select all right here. I'm going to press Z, go to wireframe mode. Then I'm going to press C and hold the middle mouse button to deselect all of this right here. I'm going to right click to get out of there. Press Z, go back to solid view. Hold the middle mouse button and shift the pen. I'm going to press Z, go to wireframe again. Press C and hold the middle mouse button here. I'm going to right click to get out of there. Hold the middle mouse button to take a look. and I'm going to press Z, go back to solid view, hold shift and middle mouse button to pan. Then I'm going to choose Control E and select mark seam. I'm now going to hold shift and middle mouse button. I'm going to zoom in by rolling the mouse wheel in. I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm going to hold Alt, select here. And I'm going to choose Control E, mark seam. I'm going to actually select here as well. I'm going to hold shift and middle mouse button. I'm going to hold shift and alt, select here. And choose mark, Control E and select mark seam. And actually want to take this away. So what I can do is I'm going to hold alt here, and just like we press Control E to put mark seam in, we can also choose clear seam. So we cleared the seam there. Now we're going to select here. Well, that is like perfectly blocking to see if it went all the way up. Guessing it did, so I'm going to press Control E, select mark seam. Then I'm going to select here, Control E, and choose mark seam. Okay, I'm going to hold shift and middle mouse button to pan. I'm going to hold alt here, and it grabbed that whole edge loop, which is excellent. I'm going to press Control E and then choose mark seam. Okay, I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm going to roll the mouse wheel back. I'm going to hold shift and middle mouse button to pan. We want to put a loop cut here for this thumb, but I don't want it riding the loop cut going to the whole body. I'll show you what I mean. If I press Control R, see there's the preview. It's showing us it's going to go all the way up. Right, I don't want that. So when I right click to get out of this. So this is one thing you can do, is you can actually press Z and then wireframe. I'm holding Control, holding the right mouse button to draw this loop. So now I have this selected. I'm going to press Z, go back to solid view. Now I'm going to press Shift H. So everything is hidden except for this hand. I'm going to press A to deselect. And now I should be able to press Control R, put a loop cut in right here, left click to lock in. Left click again to totally lock in, and now I'm gonna hold Alt, select right there, press Control E, choose mark seam, and then I'm gonna press Alt H, and you can see that that seam didn't ride all the way up. So if you guys have any tips with that, or if you think that you're like don't do that, because let me know. I'd appreciate it. Okay, what we're going to do now is make some armor for him. So I'm going to go to Phase Select. I'm going to hold C to select this right here. I'm going to right click to get out of Paint Select so I can rotate. I'm going to press C. I'm just grabbing this part of his shoulder here. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to deselect what I don't want selected there. Alright, what the heck? I'll take this. I'll hold shift, select that, and that, and that. If these seams get in your way, basically what you can do is you can press N. Like if they're distracting to you, having the red seams, you can press N to bring up your properties menu. Then where it says mesh display, see where it says edges, creases, seams, faces. We choose seams, and they're still there, but you don't have to worry about them distracting you now. So I'm going to press N to take away the properties panel. Okay, what we're going to do now is let me grab right here as well and here as well. I'm going to press Shift D to duplicate this geometry. Left click to lock in. I'm going to pull this up. Press S to scale. This works well because it's supposed to be armor to protect the shoulder region. I'm going to press A to deselect. Okay, I'm going to hold. I'm going to go to Edge Select. I'm going to hold Alt to select right here. I'm going to hold Shift and Alt to select right there. and I have that whole edge selected. So what I'm going to do is press E to extrude, left click to lock in, and I'm going to press Alt S to try to scale out, and I'm going to press S to scale again. I'll maneuver it, something like that. Okay, now I'm going to press Control R to put a loop cut right here. Left click to lock in, left click again to totally lock in. I'm now going to go to Face Select, hold Alt and select here. To grab all of those faces, I'm going to press E to extrude, left click to lock in, pull straight up like this. This here is overlapping a little bit, so I'll pull this out and up some. Just small adjustments where I see could be an issue. Just hold the middle mouse button to turn. Okay, what we're going to do now is hover our mouse here, press L, then we're going to press H to hide that temporarily. And what we're going to do now is press A to select everything. We're going to press Control 2 to put a subdivision surface on here automatically. We're going to press Z to select Shade Smooth, and then we're going to select over here this triangular looking button to make everything look like it's applied. We'll press Z and then solid. Whoops, we're in solid. We're going to click here, take a look at how everything is coming. Okay, we'll click here, go back to edit mode. We'll press Alt H, and we'll press Z and then Shade Smooth for this armor here. We'll hover here again. We'll press L. We're going to press P, and this brings up our separate menu. Then we're going to choose separate by selection, so we'll left click there. So now this is a separate object here. I'm going to click here, go to object mode. This actually look pretty cool. I'm going to select these, and I'm going to press H to temporarily hide them. Okay, what we're going to do now is make sure we're selected on here. We're going to click here, go into sculpt mode, and sculpt mode is where you can actually have fun. It's supposed to be a barbarian type character. We have the good old deflate brush right here. I'm going to press F to F. When you press F and pull, it allows you to change the size of your brush. What we are in here, if you've never seen this before, is sculpt mode. If you've ever heard of ZBrush or Mudbox, this is kind of like Blender's version of that. It's very easy to adjust geometry here. It's kind of like playing with clay. It's extremely nice when you have your basic geometry done and then you want to make changes. So that's what we're about to do here. So like some of the changes for, say, we wanted to make him look big like a barbarian, right? So you see that how just by doing that it increases the muscle size there. Very, very cool. So everything that we want bigger, we can just use the, maybe not everything, but most things. Deflate. And, we'll use them in combinations with other stuff. Spent a lot of days squatting, so big legs without having a little bit more muscle here, it really doesn't look right, because you squat, your legs get big, guess what, your backside is going to grow as well. It's just how it is. Okay, we're going to come into edit mode. Okay, what we're going to do is select here, hold shift and select here and here. I'm going to let go of shift and zoom in. I'm going to hold shift again and select here and here. I'm going to roll the mouse wheel to zoom back. I'm going to press E to extrude, left click to lock in, then I'm going to press S to scale on the x-axis. Push that towards itself. Be careful, you don't want to cross over. I'm going to go to edge select and select here, here, and here. Pull this back some like that. Okay, now I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm going to press Control R, put a loop cut right here. Left click to lock in, left click again to totally lock in. I'm going to actually select here and here. Push out some here. Just hold the middle mouse button and take a look. I'm going to click here, go back into scope mode. Now you can see we have that line right there. Okay, and we'll use the inflate brush to get even more size out of him. Careful on the legs that you don't have it cross over. And hold shift in a line to cross over there. Okay, we'll zoom into the face. Grab brush, forward a little bit. Take this brow, pull this down some. And scope mode is very nice for easily adjusting features. As you can see, just pulling here, we get that kind of hero looking cheekbone thing going on. I'm going to press F to make my paintbrush grow, or sculpt brush grow. Yeah, sculpt brush is fun. The thing is though, is you need to have the basic features, you know, set up. You don't have to. I mean, you can sculpt, come in here. So there's people who just, that's what they do, is they just sculpt. But I prefer to have the basic features set up and then sculpt. Okay, as far as his abs, we'll click here. We'll go to the fill deepen brush. We'll scroll down, make sure you're on deepen instead of fill. And press F and pull to make my brush a little bit bigger. There we go. That works pretty good for the front. For the side, we're gonna go back up. We're gonna go to crease tool here on the side. Okay, we'll here. And the crease tool, as you can see, is very effective for making muscles more defined. Here's neck. You want your neck to be fairly, you know, human beings on this side, their necks are long. Okay, we'll roll the mouse wheel in. We'll hold shift and middle mouse button to pan. Zoom in here. Hold the middle mouse button. Hold shift and middle mouse button to pan again. For this right here, roll the mouse wheel to zoom in. We can go to smooth, and just, you know, one click, you can see pretty much took that out. The definition that we lost here from the subdivision surface, we can click here, go to crease, and you'll see that crease will bring it back. Hold the middle mouse button to pan. To go to the grab brush. Pull this arm out to the side. And go to inflate. Okay, and we'll use inflate right here. Go to our grab brush. And depending on how much time you want to spend, you can even come and fairly easily manipulate and detail different parts of your mesh. Press F and pull to make this bigger. We're going to click here, go to edit mode. Hold and shift the middle mouse button to pan. I'm just going to select right here and here. Push this forward some. Roll the mouse wheel back. I want his mouth to be shut, and I recommend you guys to shut the mouths on your characters. I used to try to sculpt it, but it's actually you're better off going here, going to navigate, selecting right, pressing Z, going to wireframe, go to face select, hold Alt, hold the right mouse button, do a loop select, up here to this part of the jaw, to the bottom part of the open mouth. Then you right click right here. You click here to change your pivot point from Blender's default pivot point, which is the medium point, to the 3D cursor. And then you press R to rotate on the X-axis. Click this and change the pivot point from the 3D cursor back to Blender's default pivot point, which is the medium point. We'll click here, go back to sculpt mode, press Z, go to solid, and now his mouth is shut. However, you can still see this right here, and in sculpt mode we can just go to inflate, zoom in, press F, and small things like that inflate deals with fairly well. What we're going to do now is grab, pull his brow down more, make him look a little bit more serious there. Okay, we're going to click here, go back in edit mode. We're going to press A to deselect, zoom in, go to edge select. Push circle to turn your proportional editing tool on. Roll the mouse wheel to zoom it down. We just want to adjust his lips to look a little bit have that a little bit of a better shape to them. Roll the mouse wheel to zoom down. Sometimes when I go back to sculpt mode, I almost look at it as like, you can, you don't have the lines and stuff there. When I click here, go to smooth, take down the smooth strength, and like right here a little bit. Yeah, he's coming along. Don't know that tough dude. Okay, we're gonna click here to go back to edit mode. We're gonna select right here, push this in some here. Click here, go back to sculpt mode. There we go.